It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
Hey guys, how is it going? And welcome to the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. It is Friday, October 13th, and so happy for you joining us. We are ready to start another day together with the Lord. So subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So today we have an exciting podcast for you. We have Until the End with Daniel Baker, the Wednesday Message Word Study, and of course commentaries, updates, and news on what is happening around the world in this history today. All right, everyone. Yes, it is Friday. I'm so happy. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys enjoyed your entire week. If you haven't yet, go ahead, leave a like and comment below to build our community. Super happy for everyone joining us every weekday on the Morning Star Drive. So let's get up. Let's support each other each and every day. This week's Sunday message title is Be Born Again Anew in Body, Soul, and Spirit. Oh, I'm so happy. It is Friday. Another week is done in October. Yes, we're basically at the halfway mark. The next time we see each other, which will be on Monday, that's going to be the 16th, which means we'll pass halfway through October, which is nuts. We basically have 2 weeks left in October. It's crazy. It's so amazing how fast we are moving into the end of the year. I don't know if anyone can think about it. 79 days. It's not a lot of time. 79 days is really, really short. It means that we've almost gone through like 300 days, almost, right? We're almost at 300 days into the year, a year we thought that would never end, but we are making the best of it. We are protesting. We are putting up petitions. We have a huge rally coming up on this Sunday. And guess what? I know sometimes it gets a little bit stressful. We get confused, or it's just like, I got my work stress, I got my family stress, I got my friend stress, I got my church stress. I got all these stresses around me, but there is only one thing that can get rid of this stress. Well, more than one thing, but I'm just going to play it off for this next section we have right now. Because you'll be thinking to yourself, it's like, yes, the only thing we have that can solve all this stress is food. No, I'm just kidding, right? You're probably going to say like prayer. It's prayer, right? It's listening to the words, put into action, and this is going to relieve our stress. But no, I'm going to go in a different direction today. Very, very grateful and thankful because we have Provi-Com. Yes, Provi-Com, not from Chris Jansen. Today, it's going to be all the way from New Zealand. I am super happy. The jokes are abundant. These comedians are going to talk about the rally, the current situation, and we're just going to have fun with it. And yes, guys, sometimes we just need to make fun, poke fun, and enjoy the comedy of the situation we're in right now, too. All right, so everyone, this is all the way from New Zealand. This is, I guess you'd call it Provi-Com New Zealand. Everyone, enjoy.
What do you want to say, Ray, to the media?
Okay, these are my honest thoughts to the Korean media. Okay, first of all, you're not that trustworthy. Let's just acknowledge that. So hopefully this time round, at least this time, please do a good job. The other second most important part, your president used to be a really famous prosecutor. Hopefully he's not so old that he's forgotten, how the procedure works. So, and hopefully he would at least consider our petition because, obviously the judge and the prosecutors, are stupid. They're not considering it properly because they've forgotten the law. Anyways, the third main part is who is this judge? Okay, let's reveal the judge. Okay, let's judge this judge who's already judged it before evidence was even brought forth. And also, I would like to know, who are these prosecutors? Please give their names, expose them, reveal them. You're so lucky that, we can't affect your stocks at your law firm. Otherwise, we would, maybe, not saying we would, but potentially. So I'm just saying, if your law firm is affected at this time, that was not me. That was not me. I'm just warning you because you don't know what you're doing. My gosh. Also, I just want to ask the prosecutor, why are you so eager? Okay, why are you so eager to push sentences? 10, 15 years, 3 years? Even people who have committed crimes, who have committed murder, don't even get 10, 15 years. So what is that for? And also, what is your evidence? How did you find these people guilty? Also, I would like someone to explain, why did you detain Sansanin and then investigate it afterwards? Who does that? And please expose all the names of all the cops involved. That would be really great. We want full transparency. Again, media, do your job. Mainstream media. And especially K-pop stands in Korea, please come forth. Your power is quite strong, so we need your support in this. And I think lastly, I just want to say to the judge, to the prosecutor, to the president, a lot of you guys are saying, oh, we need to sentence him because of public pressure. Okay, fine. Do it for public pressure, but how would you deal with it when God pressures you? How would you deal then? Do you dare? Do you dare? Oh my gosh. So that's my thoughts at this time. Thank you, Korea, for listening. All the best. If more flooding happens or fires, I'm not saying it was me or us. Once again, I'm just warning because you don't know what's happening. If you're ignorant, you end up doing ignorant things, and that's what's happening right now. You make ignorant judgments. Once again, to that judge, if you want to be reminded on how to be judged or how to judge, just you wait. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, all the best. As something said, peace and harmony, grace. Something doesn't control us, okay? Something's I can't control. Exactly. Something can't control me. So whatever I'm saying right now is from my opinion. Please do not put down something because you guys are out here trying to stick things to him because you don't have any evidence. And that's the number one thing, media. Please expose all the evidence. Where's the evidence? Where? Nowhere. That's where it is. There's nowhere. There's nothing. My gosh. Okay, anyways, thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Peace and harmony, love, and Thanksgiving. And all the best. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ray. Did a good speech out there. And
members who might be shaking in their face.
And that is our wonderful, amazing Ray from Wellington. Give them a round of applause for this amazing boldness and really, how do you say? Passionate, fiery with the furnace that's coming from the burning fire. So much fire. Hope you receive that intensity and keep the fire burning.
And thank you so much, Ray, all the way over there in Wellington, New Zealand, for her comedic rant. And I think it's something that's, I would say, for myself, I enjoy this because we can see that sometimes a situation, if it gets way too serious, it can affect us. It can give us anxiety, it can make us stressed. We get that nervousness. But sometimes you just got to be able to laugh about the situation. I do this type of rant all the time with people. I'll talk about super serious things, but I'll try to make it as funny as possible, just kind of get that lighter side out of it. And I think that's something that's very, very important, especially for our mental health. I think it's very, very important. So, Ray was saying, this is just her own opinion, but it's funny. It's funny. Some people might not find it funny, but it's jokes. They're like these half-truths and jokes. Honestly, think about this. When she's talking about judgment, fires and earthquakes or flooding, whatever it is that happens in Korea, when she says, oh, that's not me, right? And technically speaking, well, not technically, 100% is not her, right? And when, as people who are have faith in God too, when it comes to these types of things, what we believe in our faith of what God does is something that is more than unusual, more than normal. We know that's something that is, if it's beyond what is normal or natural, then we know like, oh, this is something that God could be doing, right? So I really hope that you guys can enjoy this situation just as much as we're serious about it, just as much as we're praying about it. We can kind of joke around about it too, because I think that is something that is very, very important. It is, right? So I am thankful. Thank you so much, girls over there in Wellington, especially the girl in the background that's just busting up. She's busting up the entire time. So I can't, like, for me is, I wish this came out on video because I would love to see her expression while she's talking about this, because I'm sure that plays a big role in how funny it really was too. So whoever you are in the background who is just busting up, right? I don't know who you are, but you could come and leave a comment. I'd love to know who's the one that is just cracking up in the background during the entire comedic performance by Ray. Either way. All right, so there you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Have a very, very fun time with that too. Let's get into, this is what it's all happening right now. This is the last podcast before we have the October 15th, Save the Nation worldwide prayer meeting that's going to happen. For us over here in Canada, it's going to start at 10 p.m. on Saturday. So some of us will be at church to watch this too. There are a lot of petitions going around. Right? There are a lot of petitions going around, but like I said yesterday, I will post the link up once again. There are one of three. I actually posted. I actually signed up for the Google Doc. That's the one I did. But for those of you guys who are out there, as long as you sign up for one of the three main ones that will be sent to the president of Korea, do at least one of those three, and any other ones you find outside of those three. For instance, there's a one that American Providence made. They even have a YouTube video. And this YouTube video, I'm going to post the link in the description below. The YouTube channel is called Path of Love. And I think it only has one video on it, but it's this video showing if you guys have seen some of the writings on the petitions, it's going to be in voice, right? Like someone's going to be speaking about the mishandlings and the things that were wrong with the trial and stuff like that too. That is another petition that is out there. I didn't see it as any of the top three. So make sure I'll leave the link in the description below for the one that we have to sign. That's the main one that you want to make sure that you sign. And then, the American Providence one and some other petitions all around the world too. I'm sure there's probably at least 10, 15 of those too. You guys can sign as many of those as you want. But for the top three, for the three main ones, make sure you sign one of those three and you should be fine. Once again, I'll leave the link in the description. And I'll also leave the link for the YouTube channel, Path of Love, that American Providence has made. And they are going to, they're kind of explaining their petition also. So you guys can sign up for any one of those. But like I said before, there are, officially from IMD, there are three main petitions. One is the hard copy, one is the Google Doc, and one is the change.org. The link I will leave in the description below, right? And then there are other petitions out there that you can just sign. Right? And this is kind of going to make a lot of people aware of the situation too. So that one, I will leave the link for the YouTube channel below, what American Providence, the video that they made. Very, very good video too. Go ahead and check that one also. And that one you can also send to your friends and family, that video, because sometimes people want to see the video and stuff, right? So I will leave that link below also. All right? So for me, something happened yesterday. It was kind of cool. It was something that was in my mind, but someone said, hey, do you have a chance to, if we can change the ticket, can you go to Korea earlier for the event on October 15th? And I was like, hey, go check it out, see if it's available. Then I can discuss and check my situation. But tickets were checked today, and there are no flights that would get to Korea by October 15th. So I'm kind of bummed out by it, but that's okay. That is okay. I can participate from it over here. I know how important it is. Those of you guys who are able to go, I think it's a great idea. If you're in Korea, go ahead, check it out. It's going to be awesome and very, very important for this time right now. So yeah, and for me, there's okay. I'm gonna tell you a reason why I don't want to go to Korea right now, even though I'm going at the end of the month. Is it's getting cold. It is, right? It's getting cold in Korea, and one thing I don't like about cold weather is that this sounds really weird, but I have combination skin, which means it's oily in the summer and dry in the winter. So my skin is starting to get dry right now. I can already feel it. My skin getting really tight and stuff, and I need to get like a moisturizing mask. I gotta change my cleanser to cleanser for dry skin. So I am going to check that out too, because I can feel it. You know, when you smile and when you, you know, when you're moving your mouth and your face around, you can feel the tightness. I don't like it. And that's, you know, and I don't like cold. In general, I just don't like cold. I would rather be in hot, humid weather than cold weather. Like people would say stuff like, well, you know, the colder it gets, just wear more clothes. And I'll be telling you straight up is that when it gets really cold, sometimes it doesn't even matter how much clothes you put on. It's just cold. And then when it comes to hot weather, you have air conditioning, and, you know, I actually don't mind the heat, right? As long as I have my sunblock and everything else on, I'm fine. So that is something that I was kind of thinking about also, all right? So, remember yesterday I talked about, there's a member from the Philippines telling me about this, the people power revolution that happened in the Philippines. It happened more than once. It happened twice, I believe. But I want to go a little bit deeper in it with some corrections. This member actually called me and told me, oh, there's some more details that I need to know. It's called the EDSA revolution, and this happened in 1986. So remember, this is a prayer revolution, right? It's what happened was more than 1 million people gathered in the streets of Manila in protest against the Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos. And basically, he was a dictator, right? He was a dictator. His government was in control for like 20 years. And basically, the people rose up against the government, against the president, because they saw like outright manipulation of votes. Like this president saying that they won the presidential race when everyone understands or knew that it wasn't true. And this president, Ferdinand Marcos, he was in charge for like 21 years. So that's a huge, like a spiritual number also. And he declared martial law in 1972. He wrote the Philippines Constitution. He curtailed civil liberties. He concentrated the power in the government to the executive branch. And like he got rid of his allies. And basically, this Marcos guy had tens of thousands of opponents arrested, and thousands were tortured, killed, or disappeared, right? And this is why for 20 years, like Filipinos were living under like this authoritarian rule, while this president enriched himself, right? Just making like siphoning funds from the U.S. or the World Bank, International Monetary, IMF, and everything else like that too. So what eventually happened was, eventually, like the people rose up, and eventually the Philippines' closest ally, which was the U.S. Ronald Reagan was the president at that time, eventually sent word that they're going to cut their ties with the Philippines, right? Which means that Marcos no longer had the backing of his most powerful ally. And that's why on February 25th, right, this is the third, I believe it's the second or third day of the protest. Maybe it's the last day of the protest. It was 3 days, I believe. The U.S. government facilitated Marcos' escape to Hawaii, where he would remain until his death in 1989, right? Which means basically like, yeah. So that's quite crazy. And so, you know, later that same day when he escaped, like protesters stormed his palace. And basically they saw this opulent wealth that his family had amassed during their time in power. And new president came in and stuff. But what actually happened is the Filipino people, one thing you need to know about the Philippines is they're like vast majority is Catholic. They're very, very spiritual. And what happened during this this people power protest, it was peaceful. Absolutely peaceful. Filipinos from all walks of life gathered together in prayer and peaceful resolve. Catholics, guess what they were armed with? Not with guns, but with rosaries and Bibles. They linked in chain around They would link themselves around the armed soldiers and tanks, praying almost unceasingly, singing religious and protest songs, listening to the news over the radio, appealing to the soldiers, right? People kept vigil for almost a week and literally broke bread with the military. Food was shared by all of those who kept vigil in the streets. Soldiers were also handed rosaries and flowers. Family members took turns in the streets. Masses and prayer vigils were held in all churches. And, you can kind of say that it was a huge religious event more than anything else. And it's unparalleled, that people would say, in modern history. And it was, think about it, that was a leap of faith. What they did, and it was the power of God, right? And it was evident in the faith of the people, which produced such a victory. So if you look at this, the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is what's happening right now in Korea. What we are doing is this leap of faith. We're all coming together with these protests. We're praying together. We're asking God to move people's hearts so that they can see the reality of the situation here, right? And this is, this, when you look at that event that this member told me about what happened in the Philippines, yeah, this is the leap of faith where people put their trust and faith in God and they prayed for days and days, which produced a victory where a dictator ran away from his own country. As crazy as that sounds, right? That is what you call an impossible feat, that only God could do this. So this is something that we have to have, that absolute faith when we come to our time of prayer on Sunday, this Sunday, that with that leap of faith, we'll have absolute belief. We'll have the conviction that this is going to happen. Something is going to change. God's heart is going to be moved, and we'll produce a spiritual victory at this time, right? So like I said, this is my last podcast before October 15th. It's the 13th today. We got 2 days left. And I pray that all of us will do well, testify about it on Monday. Let's really pray well, guys, all of us together. Prepare our prayers too. And, one thing that I think that we need for 2023. 2023 is a pretty crazy year, right? And I'm going to use a sports analogy because it's something what you call the next game mentality. The next game mentality, right? It's a sports reference, right? And basically, you'll hear pro athletes when they're interviewed after games. They'll have a great game, and reporters will ask things like, "You guys ready to win the championship?" And it's like, the players are always the next game mentality, where they say, "We're not looking that far ahead. We're looking at the next game. We're going one game at a time. The next game is what we're looking at right now. We're preparing. We're focused on the next game," right? And in the same way, for us to survive 2023 is not about us thinking too far ahead and saying, "Oh, we're almost done," kind of thing. But we need to just take care of each day, one at a time, one event at a time. And this event that we have right now is going to be October 15th. And then we're going to finish off the Esther prayer condition until the 20th. And then we finish off the 70-day prayer condition. And after that 70-day prayer condition, we're going to have like 21 days left, right? It's going to be like, I think 21 days left before the end of the year, right? So what is the game we have in front of us right now? Next game mentality is October 15th. Let's take care of this really well. Once we get that taken care of, we have the next step after that too. All right? Like for us, I think our church here in Vancouver, the church will be open at that time to watch it. I'm not sure if the translation is going to be done very well because it's live and such, but I think it's going to be pretty amazing and awesome, right? So it's going to be exciting to see, right? And for us here in Vancouver, like I said, it's 10 p.m. to midnight. So it is going to be pretty late. And of course, we have Sunday service the next day, right? There is Sunday service the next morning. So I think a lot of us will at least come to pray. And then, for the rest of the event, probably some people will start going home and stuff like that too. For me, it's like way past my bedtime. As an old man, my bedtime is like 10:30. That's my bedtime. I gotta get to sleep, right? I realize how important my sleep is and how important it is my sleep is so that I can wake up fresh the next morning. All right. Yeah. So I hope you guys, everyone gets ready. Let's talk about this on Monday. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about this too. So today, second segment, we are going to go over the Wednesday message. Really excited about that message too. And of course, last we have Until the End with Daniel Baker. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy that also. So let's move into the first break of the day.
Jehovah above, the Lord of hosts, creator of all. I made this world, so hear what I say. Come learn from me, for my ways are the truth. Come to me and ask me, I'll teach you when you do. Come to me, come closer and receive all my love. Always try, climb higher, draw closer to my side. I, your God, Jehovah, speak these words to you. I will reply through all I have made, and there are times I'll answer through you. If you will pray sincerely and ask, I will reply, so act upon my words. Come to me and ask me, I'll teach you when you do. Come to me, come closer and receive all my love. Always try, climb higher, draw closer to my side. I, your God, Jehovah, speak these words to you. Come and learn from me, for I'll raise you well. Act on my words and gain what you should gain. Use what you gain, enjoy what I have given you. Now shine bright, glorify my name. Shine for me. I'll teach you when you do. Come to me, come closer and receive all my love. Always try, climb higher, draw closer to my side. I, your God, Jehovah, speak these words to you. I will teach my truth through the person I have sent. For his words are my words, he is speaking for me. See the way he loves me, he'll love me just the same. I, your God, Jehovah, speak these words to you. See the way he loves me, he'll love me just the same. I, your God, Jehovah, speak these words to you.
All right, so let's get into today's word study. And of course, every single Friday, we have the Wednesday message word study. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Same title, Be Born Again, anew in body, soul, and spirit, coming from Ezekiel and the Gospel of John. All right, so just a quick reminder on the Sunday message. How did this message come about? Since you saw this in the spiritual world, a deep valley of machinery, cars and tools, whatever it is, rusty and decayed. And some of them had like these machine bodies, and inside there's like, he saw an engine like kind of moving helplessly, which symbolized people who are alive only in their hearts, but their physical body is in the domain of death, detached from the time period, right? And we know that the furnace is symbolized as the man of mission. The fire is the word of the time period, and we need to understand the man of mission correctly, right? And be melted in the blazing fire once again and made into a new person. Okay, so this is not just talking about people who are not in Providence, but also those who have been in Providence being used until now, who've become old and worn out. They need to be born again anew. Yeah, that sounds like me. Become old. Old and worn out. I got to be used again, right? So it's only through the fiery word that we are transformed and renewed. And of course, whenever we hear these types of introductions, we know that it is a foreshadowing of what will happen through the fiery words we receive at that time. So Wednesday message, great message. The key points seem to be about management, managing yourself, right? Managing yourself. After you've made yourself, you have to work just as hard to maintain what you have, right? To grow it higher and higher rather than just kind of letting yourself go, right? So the great way that it was put is, after you put in such hard work and struggle to make something like into a masterpiece, you have to manage it with that same level of hard work and struggle, right? And it basically it's going to be for the rest of our life. Because if you think about it, once you make a masterpiece like Wolmyeongdong, when you look at Wolmyeongdong, all the effort, the decades of work put into it, how it is right now, right? How do I know that Wolmyeongdong has been made into such a great place? It now has a cafe with an espresso machine. That's the upgrade I was looking for, right? So when we see this, well, how long do we have to manage it? Well, as long as we're living, it must be managed, right? And we have to, and one thing that the message was telling us is, when you manage something, you can't look at management as like tiring. Oh, I got to manage it. Oh, it's got to be like this. Well, we have to manage things thinking of management as joy. And I think that would be the same thing why a lot of people might be scared of having children. They might be scared of having children because it takes a lot of management to take care of kids. Is crazy. Crying all the time. They need attention. You got to get them things, buy them things, all the different things. There's so much of it going on, right? And we have to think about it like, wait, if you don't think about this, taking care of your own child as a joy, it's going to be something you would never want to do. But when you realize that it's your child, you realize that this child's going to grow up, and what you do and how you raise them is going to affect the way that they are for the rest of their life. You have to do it with joy, knowing that this is my child that I love, right? So with this, while you manage with joy, what happens? Just like Wolmyeongdong, as we're managing it with joy, we're also using it really well and properly and giving glory to God through that. And that's kind of the same thing with us too, right? It's about managing ourselves, right? And if you think about this is actually even more important than Wolmyeongdong in your lifetime, is managing your own faith. What good is managing Wolmyeongdong if your faith is not doing well anyways, right? And this is a thing that needs to be managed more than all the other things in your life, right? And that one thing that was in the message that I really liked is, what more can God give to you? What more can He give to you than what has already been given? So look at all the things that God has done for us, all the things that God has given. Look at it as life itself, and let's just manage it, right? And the more we manage, the more we shine. And one thing that the message did say that I liked even more was, if you manage really well, you will shine even brighter than you did at first. And this actually makes a lot more sense too. It's like, is that really possible? And the answer is absolutely. Because when you shined at first, you were shining bright with, realizing this history, running for this history, but you didn't know as much. You didn't have as much experience. You couldn't lecture. You couldn't take care of people. You couldn't do some of the things that you can do as you grew up in this history. But now that you have all those skills, if you manage yourselves really well and you shine, you'll shine brighter, absolutely, because on top of having that shine, you shine brighter because of the skills you picked up along the way. And that's why we can shine even higher, even brighter than we did before, right? It's just like anything in life. Anything in life, the more you work on it, the better it gets. The more you work on it, the better you can do at something, right? Like even like a tree, a sapling compared to a fully grown tree that has been managed in its magnificence and greatness, the value is higher when it grows, right? And eventually, imagine that tree becomes rare. Then it becomes even more valuable. So everything is growing every year. Everything is growing, right? All the trees, the plants, the animals, we are growing all the time, every single year. And of course, our bodies, when it hits a certain stage, we start to get, not as good. Like we kind of start to decline physically. However, spiritually, we get bigger constantly with time. Our spiritual beauty will soar. I'm sorry, but our physical beauty will not. Our physical beauty will not soar constantly, right? But our spiritual beauty, our character, the thing that matters even more, that is the thing that's going to shine even more. So this is something that we have to be so thankful to God about. And we have to be those that love and manage ourselves more and more each and every day, right? Like Sansim said it all the time. Warmingdong is symbolizing God's throne. It symbolizes the man of mission, but it also symbolizes us. And that's why Sansim always uses it as the example. Just as much as we have developed and made and managed Warmingdong, you must do the same too. As a whole, Warmingdong as a whole. But then even if you look at, Sansim will look at every single tree, every single rock, every single thing from the grass lawn to the sports field, everything is getting made better. From the waterfalls to the pools to the lake, everything, 316 Memorial, all these things are getting built better and better. And all these things have been made to this point, so now it shines even more. So we have to understand that Warmingdong has been made to a point where it is so rare, one of a kind. Nothing has ever been made like this. There's no such thing as a rock landscaping that is made with rocks that are standing up. There's nowhere else in the world, right? And because of that, it is that much more rare and that much more valuable. Remember, what does Warmingdong symbolize? It symbolizes God. It symbolizes the Lord. It symbolizes us, right? So we have to be those. Not only just, as we manage Warmingdong, what's the key point? Manage your faith, right? Just as much as you were making it the first time you started your faith, that excitement, that joy, like, oh, I'm in this history. I will gladly run for this history. I will gladly do this for the history kind of thing, right? We have to have that type of mindset. And I hope that it's something that you'll take as the major and the biggest point that comes from the Wednesday message. Make yourself, but don't just, like for myself, I've been making myself for 25 years, but what's it time for? It is time to manage yourself, right? Especially for someone in my position, being in Providence for 25 years, I've kind of made my, I have made myself to a certain extent. I have certain things that I'm very, very good at, right? And some things I'm not, right? But the things that I'm good at, it's time to manage it. Make sure that I continue it. Like, that's why I do sermons in the sky. I don't want to lose that feeling, lose that skill, that sense of preaching or teaching or lecturing or things along that line. So that is something I hope that all of us will really be able to manage really well also, right? Now, another point that came out, which is very, very important for us, like manage it well. However, the thing that Sansim said is before you even start, remember, if you want to manage something well, plan and design in advance, right? You got to plan it, design it, but don't just plan and design in advance. You have to do it together with God, right? Plan your life, design your life with God and the Lord. What are you going to do next with your life? What's the next plan for you? What is the next thing that you think is the best thing for you to do, right? And this is something that I think that a lot of us need to, I know that we're not sending letters and stuff like that. However, this is something we need to really pray about, is getting the direction of God. I want to plan my life the right way. I want to plan my life not just, working 9 to 5, right? I want a job that, God, you'll be happy with, or you have a plan for me in, right? I want that type of job. God, I want you to design my life. What's the next thing I should do next? What's the next skill I should get next here, right? And that's something that I think is an important thing that all of us have to really consider is have you designed your life together with God? Have you done that? Right? And that is something I think that all of us have to take into consideration is when's the last time you discussed with God about your life? Like what's going to happen next in my life? Now, someone might ask is, well, like, yeah, but you can ask God and this, and this, but how do you know for sure? Well, the absolute answer is if you find the person that God has sent, which we have, then we can come up with an even better plan, an even more detailed, a more designed, a more like getting down to the nitty gritty. Like we can get the best plan if we have the one that God sent. Why? Well, you might think to yourself, it's like, but none of us can talk to him that much, right? And the answer is it all comes out in the word. The design that God has for us is constantly coming out of the Sunday message, the pre-dawn proverbs, the Wednesday messages, right? It's constantly coming out, and that's what we're praying over, right? One of the things that we kind of fail to do when it comes to our prayers, Sasim says, use the word in your prayers. God, example is like, God, you told us this week, right? This week you told us to make ourselves anew through the furnace. God, what can I do next? You told us we have to, make ourselves, we have to be melted away by the fire of the words of the time period. God, I need that right now. And you're talking to God about these things, right? And I hope it's something that all of us will look at and say, yeah, this is something that I might have lost a lot in, which is making sure that I'm praying with the word of the week. God, this is what you want from me this week. How can I do this? And this is when the answers come out in the words of God. That's why a lot of times, one of the things that people don't do well is they pray and ask for certain things, but when they hear the words of God, they don't keep those questions in mind, even though God is giving you an answer, right? Remember, God is the one that will have the best plan. Right? God is the one that will help us to understand how we should believe, how we should treat the man of mission, right? And that's why we need to plan. Ask, right? God, what should I do? Like one of the things that he did talk about is like, yeah, think about this. Ask God whether you should run full-time Providence or not. Is one better than the other? No, it all depends on what is God's will, right? What is the best thing for you? It's not about, isn't it better to be like this or better to be like that? And the answer is no. We got to earnestly ask God and say, God, what do you really think is going to fit me the best? God, what do you think is going to be the thing that's going to make me reach that new level, the next level? God, what do you think about this? God, what do you think about this? And this is where we're going to get God's plan, right? We have to ask God, earnestly ask him, God, should I run full-time here? God, should I run like this? God, should I run like that? And then once you get the design from God, we got to plan out how we're going to put all these things God wants me to do into practice. Because one thing the message said is, you can have a great design, but if you plan it wrong, even if it's a good design, you'll ruin it. We have to plan it properly. Right? If we don't plan, if we don't design our life, we just live however we want, in the end, we just live in regret. Right? We have to be those that plan and design our lives together with God. And we have to earnestly ask God. So I hope it's something that all of us too look at and say, yeah, this is something I really have to think about. Now, the next part of the message I liked was talking about gaining valuable things from God. Right? It's only about those that open their eyes. If your eyes are open, you get to see like, oh, these are what valuable rocks are. These are what valuable, a lot of us have gone through it where Sunsteam talks about trees for like 5 weeks straight and we're still like, what? Like, why is that tree better? Sunsteam's like, ooh, look at that tree. Look at the design here. And I'm kind of like, I don't know what makes it better. The only thing I know that makes it better is that you touched it, that you're the one that did it. That's what makes it better. But I can't really tell you why it's so much better than the next tree. But your eyes have to be open. Now, it's not just about rocks and trees and all these natural things and about people, but it's especially about God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, the man of mission, the central figures of the time period. It is very difficult to live joyfully in this history if your eyes are not open. Because if your eyes are not open, you don't realize the value. If you don't realize the value, you're going to wonder, why am I listening to this person? The more we value God, the more we value the Holy Spirit and Jesus and the man of mission, the more God will value us because we see the value in them, right? The more God values us, what's he going to do? He's going to use you more. Why wouldn't he use someone who values the man that he has sent, the person that is sent in the time period? Why wouldn't he value and use and help even more if you valued or understood it that much better? The person who is sent, how important is this person? This person will determine your destiny. That's how big that person is. That's how much we have to value them. How much do we truly love God? How much do we know God? How much do we realize about God? And what are the signs of how much do you love, how much do you know and realize or value God? It's all about how much do you seek him. Because if you truly love, you will seek. If you truly know, if you truly value and realize, you're going to seek. You can't help it. The moment your eyes are open, the more you value, the more you will seek. You will call. You will ask. You will knock. That's one of the ways you'll know, do I really love God that much? And one of the things that we're going to find out in our life is like, sometimes we go through these down times in our faith. We'll go through down times in our faith, and what's going to happen? We're going to forget the person God sends. We're not going to value him that much. We're not going to be looking to him or anything else like that. And one sign that you're forgetting the Savior, the message said is, you're going to experience a life of no joy, no hope, and meaninglessness. That's when you know you're forgetting the Savior. Like some people would just say, well, I don't feel this anymore. I have no hope. I have no joy in this history. But you had joy before, which means we forgot. But then people think to themselves is like, oh, I thought this was better than I thought it was. This is worse than I thought. Oh, I don't want to be here anymore. I have no joy or hope or happiness or whatever it is, right? It's not because it's not the place. We've had it before. It's because we couldn't manage ourselves in our faith. That was the original theme of this of the Wednesday message. And when that happens, you continue on that road. Your heart gets devastated. You feel the emptiness. Then you'll end up forsaking God. And so we have to be those that really understand this history that well. And, God is giving us the words, and God is telling us, inscribe it on your foreheads and your hands. Inscribe it inscribe it on the tablets of your hearts. And when you do this, when it's inscribed, it's etched with like a pick and like and a hammer, just etched in there where it can never be taken out. Then every day you'll have that joy. I also liked the point is like, hey, you've received so many blessings, you just don't know it. Well, how do you know? It's like, you'll realize it when you compare it to when you don't have it. It's like when you're someone who lives abundantly with great food, like I am with my mom right now. Oh, you'll realize what it's really like when you don't have that food. And I'm like, I already did. I went to Georgia for like 10 days. I miss my mom's cooking. You won't know till you don't have it. So, realize now how good it really is. Realize now. Give glory to God. Sing, praise, pray, and just receive those blessings from God and enjoy those blessings. One of the things that we don't want is like a lot of people, they reach their goals of becoming rich and then they don't even enjoy the wealth that they have. They're just trying to get more and more and more. We got to enjoy it. We got to enjoy it. A lot of people don't know that right now, at this moment, they're living with blessings from God, but instead there's complaints and grumbling and stress, and then they think that, oh, life is so hard. But just wait till later. You'll realize that what you had now was a blessing. What you had a year ago was a blessing. We have to realize that. We really do. Realize the blessing while you have it. Don't realize it later when it's gone. It's just like salvation. How many of us have really valued salvation? Our spirits coming out of sin, living in the domain of God, living in the golden city, living forever, right? In a place of absolute happiness. Living with all our heart, will, and life, not losing salvation. It was really moving when Jesus finally saved Sunsim, and then Jesus turned to Sunsim and said, I cannot live without you. Now you live a life where you cannot live without me. That is powerful. Imagine Jesus says to you, I cannot live without you. Now it's your turn. Live the life where you cannot live without me. We got to do the same thing. We got to realize how great this life is. Value what the Holy Trinity has blessed you with. Value the people around us that the Holy Trinity has surrounded us with. And through those things, we're going to gain a lot more. Right? We're going to gain a lot more. And that's something that we have to take to the next level. So, we have to, one thing that Sunsi talked about was these masterpiece artworks that have been in the ground for millions of years, but they're covered, right? They're underground in the beginning, but slowly when they're uncovered, we realize how great of a masterpiece they are, right? It's the same thing with us. In the beginning, we're not recognized. In the beginning, people are not acknowledging us. In the beginning, we don't have anything to show. We're still underground being made. But are you really going to be made or not? Or are you going to just complain and say that no one recognizes me? How come no one acknowledges me for this or that? No, wait for the right time to come. There will come a time where everyone, they kind of have their coming out. Like, oh my gosh, this person is powerful. This person is doing so well. Wow, look at this person here. But it takes time. It takes time. Just wait for it. Right? Everything in life is the same. Think about seeds are planted inside the ground. When do you finally actually see the magnificence? Well, it's after they grow into a tree. But when they're still underground, you have no idea what's going on. When they're still little sapling comes out, it's nothing big to look at. It's only when they grow properly. So all of us have to do what? We have to live the life loving the Holy Trinity, loving the one that God has sent. And this is going to be our greatest joy. The further we are from God, the more lonely and empty we are. The further we are from God, it's pretty funny when he talked about raising pets. People love dogs and cats and snakes and insects. They love to travel, buy what they want. It's because they're far, a lot of them are far from God. They're lonely and empty. But when you finally learn about God the Creator through the man of mission, when you receive that salvation, when you inherit the eternal kingdom, then you have to make it a joy to love God. Once you reach that level, hopelessness disappears. There will be heaven in your heart, heaven in your life. You will live joyfully in love. And this is why we have to realize how great it is loving God to the utmost. We have to realize to that level. What is the greatest blessing? The blessing is living, loving God, and enjoying what God has given us. What a great way to live if you can reach that level. So I hope that all of us will continue to know more, realize more about the Word, about the man of mission, and take action as much as we know. Right? If you can only take action as much as you know, you need to keep learning more, keep knowing more, keep realizing more. Then you can grow in your actions too. This is when the Holy Trinity will work upon us even more, help us even more, use us even more because we reach higher levels. Right? There was something that was quite interesting from the message that I was thinking about. I'm not sure if you guys heard this too, but I'm gonna have to go over this again, but I'm not sure if you guys heard something like this. Santi was talking about like how low the intelligence of the body is, but he says sometimes your body leaves and goes into the world, but your spirit may continue to live in salvation. I was like, really? So your body goes into the world, but your spirit still lives in salvation, still has salvation? I am not. I heard it, but I was like, oh, did he? Well, what does that mean, kind of thing. So I am not sure exactly what that means. I'm not. Did any of you guys hear that too? Because it's like the body, soul, and spirit all receive according to what they've done, right? But what happens if your body leaves and goes into the world? But then he said your spirit. Sometimes some people their spirit may continue to live. Some. Right? It seems like more of a very exclusive, it's a very rare thing that happens, but I am not really sure. I was like, oh, did I hear that correctly? I'm not sure if you guys heard that or not, but that was something that was very interesting for me, but I need to double check that if that's correct. Right? I got to double check that. Right? But from the Wednesday message, it was a fiery furnace. We listened to the words, we were melted by it. And this is what we need to do every day. Listen to the word every day. Become melted by that word. Reform our hearts. Reform our thoughts. Reform the way that we perceive things in our spirit. And this is when we can become the counterparts of God. This is when we become the counterparts of the Holy Spirit, of Jesus, right? And then this is when we can go into the Golden City too. So great message. I really liked it. It was very, very fiery. It's like the preface was really good. It's like, it's like, hey, we got to, the only way you can change, you have to be reformed, made by the fiery furnace, right? And then he proceeds to give us the fiery furnace kind of thing, right? So I thought that was kind of cool. Either way. All right, so that is the word study for today. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. Let's move into the second break of the day.
Praying today, I pray unceasingly again. Lord, I am here praying today, I pray unceasingly again. I'll engrave only your word into my mind, I'll keep it there. I'll engrave only your word into my mind, I'll keep it there. Lord, I'm here praying today, I pray unceasingly again. Lord, I am here praying today, I pray unceasingly again. I will engrave only your word into my mind, I'll keep it there. I will engrave only your word into my mind, I'll keep it there. I will kick all of those Satans away, forces of darkness that steal off my strength and my energy. Casting them off, I will run this history brilliantly. The Satans who hide themselves inside my heart, I will destroy them all. The Satans who cause so many trials for God's street of providence. So yesterday, now and forever, I swear I'll eradicate them from my life. Today's supreme, my mission has been accomplished. Lord, I'm here praying today, I pray unceasingly again. Lord, I'm here praying today, I pray unceasingly again. I will engrave only your word into my mind, I'll keep it there. I will engrave only your word into my mind, I'll keep it there. I will kick all of those Satans away, forces of darkness that steal off my strength and my energy. Casting them off, I will run this history brilliantly. The Satans who hide themselves inside my heart, I will destroy them all. The Satans who cause so many trials for God's street of providence. So yesterday, now and forever, I swear I'll eradicate Today's supreme, my mission has been accomplished. Satan's in my heart, destroy them. Satan's in Providence, destroy them. Satan's in my life, destroy them. No matter what, complete this mission. Satan's in my heart, destroy them. Satan's in Providence, destroy them. Satan's in my life, destroy them. No matter what, complete this mission. The Satans who hide themselves inside my heart, I will destroy them all. The Satans who cause so many trials, but God's the street of providence. So yesterday, now, and forever, I swear I'll eradicate them from my life. Today's supreme, my mission has been accomplished. The Satans who hide themselves inside my heart, I will destroy them all. The Satans who cause so many trials, but God's the street of providence. So yesterday, now, and forever, I swear I'll eradicate them from my life. Today's supreme, my mission has been accomplished. Today's supreme, my mission has been accomplished. Today's supreme, my mission has been accomplished.
And here we are to the final segment of today's Friday podcast. Well, final segment for today and for the entire week. Yes, we're already here to Friday. This is once again Until the End Mental Health Podcast with Daniel Baker over there in Korea. I can't wait to see him in the next 2 weeks. But I hope you guys really enjoy it. Please welcome all the way from Korea. This is Daniel Baker with Until the End.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Do It Until the End podcast. Now, today, of course, is the end of the week, and this week was amazing. There's an amazing amount of powerful messages through the Wednesday and Sunday messages. The title of this week's message was Be Born Again Anew, in body, soul, and spirit. Now, this is something that everyone needs to do, right? To get their mental health straight. It's not only about your mental health, but your spirit, your body. And it's kind of like, we know as Provi people that our soul is really, is what connects our body and our spirit, right? And what is our soul? It is our mind, our thoughts, and our mental. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. It's your mental. However, it's very important to make sure that your mental and your mental health is healthy. And one of the main things that can happen is that during your life, there's many times where you're going to be in some kind of slump, or you're going to have some kind of difficulties that kind of makes, it's more maybe, I guess, in your 20s, maybe 30s. If in your 30s, if you don't have your life figured out that much, because it's like a ticking, time is ticking, but you don't have like structure, or if you don't have that kind of things, it can be more common. But especially in your 20s, there's also a time in your 40s, like you have your midlife crisis. But there's always times where crises come up, and you have to, over time, of course, make sure that you don't get depressed, you don't fall deeper and deeper into a slump. And for me, personally, I want to be perfectly honest. Last week's podcast, that was like mid-slump, like terrible. It was really, really bad. And I really made sure that right now I realized why I'm going through this, why I'm going through those mood changes. Why do I not want to wake up in the morning, right? Just sleep, waste time. Because that's not normal, right? Normal Daniel, normal myself is very motivated to keep up with the SS, keep up with the word, always trying to make myself spiritually, physically. But yeah, when I'm in a slump, it is terrible. Wasting time, sleeping in, not eating, which is a terrible one, right? It's like, if you don't eat, you feel bad. And if you feel bad, you don't want to eat. And it's like a cycle and cycle. There's sometimes that I would go 2-3 days without eating. Of course I would drink, but not eat, because I just don't want to eat. Now, how do I prevent this? Now, this is the most important part, right? It's important to see the cause of how to prevent something. It's important to see the cause of something, right? So the cause of me getting into these slumps was very simple, right? It's very simple. If I made any mistakes, right? So I realized that I'm kind of a perfectionist. And perfectionists, they struggle a deep amount, right? Now, they struggle a lot because when you make mistakes as a perfectionist, it kind of goes, it's like going against, it's like the same thing of going against your set of values. If you go against your set of values, if you believe that, if you believe that drinking and smoking is very bad for you, and you go drink with your friends or something like that, it's going against your values. You feel very dirty after it. And whenever you make a mistake as a perfectionist, that's the kind of feeling I get. Now, usually, if I make a mistake, I just, that was not great, but I just move on. But those, not great, those, after 10, 20, 30 of those, something kind of builds up. There's like this, even though I'm cleaning up, but there's this a little bit of residue that builds up slowly and slowly, and I don't realize this. And as a perfectionist, after 20, 30 times, or I realized that this time, because I made a mistake about some financial thing. Me and the SS teachers were going on a meeting. We were going out to dinner, and but I messed up the finances of that trip, and I messed it up, so I had to pay with my own money, $150. Not the greatest situation, right? So I made a mistake, and that just cracked. That made me crack, right? That made me go into the slump. That made me feel really bad. And it was very amazing that I realized this, right? That if I make mistakes over and over and over again, I'm kind of bound to get into a slump. And yes, I realized this, right? Now, how did I fix it, right? How did I get out of the slump? Now, that's the second part. Number 2 is I talked. Now, a lot of things work for different people, right? I talked with my family. I talked with the Trinity through prayer, through the message, constantly trying to see if there was any answers. And I did get some answers. But it's very important to find a solution that works for you. And this time, an amazing, I think it's very different for all different slumps that I go through. But this slump, I had a deep one-to-one talk with a pre-pastor in the Women's Church who kind of really, really helps me out with my mission. And I told him, right, my difficulties with this mission. And, it's very important to find people that can go through or that can tell you that, you know, what you're experiencing as in your mission or in your life, yeah, you know, it might be very, very bad for you, or you might feel terrible right now, but everyone goes through it. And here's a way to fix it, right? Here's a way to improve from it. And that's how, you know, I don't know if he consciously does this, but this is how he manages people. And, you know, that really brought me out of the slump. That one talk, that one 30-minute, 45-minute talk really made me realize that what I was thinking, you know, massive deal, right? $150 I lost one night. But really, you know, after a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple months, you know, finances pan out, doing better. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, right? Yeah, I hope this is going to be the last time I talk about this slump, depression thing on this podcast because, yeah, it's a constant battle, to be perfectly honest. Because it's a constant battle, especially right now when we're in the spiritual war with Satan. It's really, really difficult, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, this week, very interesting week because October 15th, we're going to have a prayer meeting in Seoul. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I don't know how many people are going to show up. It's supposed to be a bigger event than last event that we had in Seoul, which was around 50,000 people. Yeah, so I'm really curious how many people is going to come in. I'll try to take some video and send it over to Pastor Sky so we can see what kind of situation it was, what kind of environment it was during this prayer meeting, because it's going to be like, I don't know if you guys know the situation, right? But it's kind of like the last line of defense, at least for now, right? For this one battle, which is like a real massive battle. It's not the whole war, but this massive battle, it's like the last line of defense. That's why we're doing, we're getting signatures, trying to go to the president. Yeah, we're trying to do all these things right now, which, to be honest, I wish we did earlier because it really felt kind of rushed. But sometimes drastic measures comes during drastic times. So yeah, I hope I can get some video and send it over to you guys, and so we can be more connected throughout Providence. It doesn't really matter if we're not connected by land or we can't see each other face to face. For multiple years, we're connected. Providence connects people, right? And I truly believe that. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. To everyone who is trying to improve their lives, to become closer and one with the Lord, let's walk this path together. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.
And that is a super big thank you to Daniel Baker for another wonderful episode of Until the End Mental Health Podcast. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. Anything you want to say to him, go ahead, leave it in the comments below. He will definitely get back to you. Really appreciate all the hard work that he's doing. This is it, guys, for the entire week. We'll see you guys back on Monday, which is going to be the 16th already of October. Everyone enjoy the worldwide prayer meeting to save the nation on Sunday. And we'll see you guys again on Monday on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and feel your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know.
gonna stop me when